Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2021 Husky Hall of Fame ceremony. Tonight's MC is Bill Swartz.
Good evening, Husky Nation. How the heck are you? It's been way too long that we've gotten together in person, huh? Homecoming weekend, culminating with another remarkable group for the Husky Hall of Fame. How about it? Giving us so many special sports memories over the years, and these people have continued to make positive impacts in the world. I am Bill Swartz. I'm live in person tonight. I know you're thinking, hey, that guy has really gotten a lot younger in the last 2 years. Isolation will do that to you, okay? That's what happens. If you'll indulge me for just a second, I want to text you all of the codes and the links tonight so we can Zoom and do team meetings and Skype and Slack and FaceTime and TikTok and YouTube Live and... No? We're done with virtual, aren't we? It's good to be here in person with you, with good friends who I've known for a long, long time. Forget about it. This is the real deal tonight. We forgot how much we love socializing, how much we love cheering on the dogs in person, right? Alaska Airlines Hec Ed Arena, Hec Ed Pavilion. It's got special memories for me. My dad brought me here in 1973 for the first time. I know I look a lot younger than that, but we watched the great Chris Taylor and the NCAA Wrestling Championships. Boy, that was an extraordinary time here, and so many other great memories in this building for me. I was privileged, lucky to be the Husky first radio play-by-play announcer for women's basketball. Some great victories in here over Stanford, some outstanding teams coached by Chris Gobrecht, my friend June Doherty, and I'd be remiss if I didn't think about her. We lost her 2 months ago, and the best to Mike and the twins. What a remarkably good person June Doherty was. Also in this building, yes, getting to cover the men's teams with the great Marv Harshman, Lorenzo Romar, who's here tonight, Bob Bender, and now Coach Hop, and they're going to get the season rolling here in just 2 or 3 weeks. I was so lucky to roam the football sidelines for 10, 12 amazing years. The adrenaline rush in the greatest setting, being in the locker room afterwards to talk to remarkable athletes, some you will meet here tonight, hosting the fifth quarter rally on this very stage, this end of the building, making sure you didn't ask the wrong questions of the head coaches, win or lose. I was pretty lucky. I got to cover 5 Rose Bowls and a national championship. Lucky and maybe considering myself a good luck charm at the same time. Most recently, hosted the Dog House on KOMO Radio, where we shared really important stories from your student athletes, your coaches, and about their college opportunities. And it's all about relationships and connections when you come to this fabulous, world-renowned institution. In fact, I think it's a great time to be a college athlete. Now we have the ability for them to make a few coins for name, image, and likeness. And I was thinking back, I've got this collection of cassette tapes from all my interviews I did at halftime with Coach James and Lambright. Why don't I sell those for like $9.95 a pop? Free shipping. And, for instance, here's one of the highlights. It was the Oregon game in 1990, and the Dogfathers coming off at halftime. We've had a rash of injuries, and I said to Don, boy, they're just falling everywhere, Coach. I have a little bit of eligibility. You think I ought to suit up? Let's hope not. Thanks, Bill. Classic deadpan, the Dogfather, and I loved him so much. He taught me so many valuable lessons in life, and I heard Mario Bailey say it on the pregame show last night. What are the things that resonate from Don James as a coach? And first and foremost, be here early, that's on time is late, and late is not acceptable. And the other thing Don always taught me when I MC and host these award ceremonies, and including the Hall of Fame, is he'd look at his watch and he'd say, let's go, Bill. Let's go indeed. Let's have a great night and a remarkable show. So many important guests to introduce. First and foremost, the chief, the woman who runs this great athletic empire here at Montlake, the athletic director at the University of Washington, Jen Cohen. Please continue your applause for all of our new inductees in the 2021 Hall, their families and friends who made it here tonight. We have some current head coaches in the house who I've been really thrilled to interview and share their stories over the years. Mighty are the women. From softball, Coach Heather Tarr. It's a big night for racket women and racket men. And the men's tennis coach at the University of Washington is Matt Anger. Women's tennis on the rise over the last 3-4 years. Coach Robin Stevenson is here. And for men's soccer, a lot of good conversations with this dude, Jamie Clark. How about a round of applause tonight for our generous supporters who are going to treat you to supper. Aqua by El Gaucho, providing a wonderful meal you're about to enjoy. And now it's time to meet the Hall of Fame Selection Committee in conjunction with Tyee. They have the difficult task of finding deserving candidates, and there are so many who gave their all in athletic pursuits here at the University of Washington. On that committee, Courtney Thompson, who is a Husky Hall of Famer. I don't think Courtney could be with us tonight. She's working. Trina Frimprong Ellertson, Husky Hall of Famer. A fellow you'll meet shortly coming out in his purple jacket, Mario Bailey, a Husky Hall of Famer. The Hall of Fame curator, Dave Terrell. Part of that rowing dynasty, Aaron O'Connell, Deputy Athletic Director. Chip Lydom, the Associate AD. And the Sports Information Czar, Jeff Bechtel, Assistant AD. We also would like to thank Marta Valdez, lead Hall of Fame designer. Where's Marte? And then my personal thanks to Heidi Bush and Alethea and all of their staff with the events and Big W Club Enhancement. They do a fabulous job putting this together tonight. This is their largest event now together in person in 2 years. Thank you to them. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our most distinguished guest, the current Husky Hall of Fame members from various induction classes. Please hold your applause for all of these women and men until they've been to the end of the procession. Mentioned him earlier, Mario Bailey, football class of 2014. Trish Bostrom, women's tennis class of 1987. From men's tennis, class of 2012, Chet Kreil. Sherry Forsberg, women's rowing, class of 2018. A teammate is Lynn Kalina, women's rowing, class of 2018. Same boat, same crew. Christy Lewis, women's rowing, class of 2018. A buddy from the Husky pregame show, Gregg Lewis, football, class of 2006. Great rower and coach, Eleanor McIlvain, women's rowing, class of 2018. Lisa Rajesh, women's rowing, class of 2018. From men's rowing, Albert Rossi, class of 1998. Gail Bowser, women's rowing, class of 2018. Jeannie Bodel, women's rowing, class of 2018. Softball, class of 2014, Ashley Tuiasosopo. And the last of our Hall of Famer procession, Jerry Ballure, track and field, class of 1988. Now, please join me in welcoming this prestigious group to the stage as one. The purple jackets say it all, doesn't it? Since the beginning in 1979, the Husky Hall of Fame welcomed 203 members into this prestigious ranks. And I hope you had a chance to go up during our mingling hour to witness the shrine up there and see the magnificent exhibits and artifacts that have been collected over the years. It takes a person with passion, patience, dedication to go out and search for all of these artifacts and memorabilia and then piece them together to tell a story about these extraordinary athletes who participated in sports at the University of Washington. Tonight, we honor one man with a special Hall of Fame recognition. With that presentation, please welcome to the stage now the University of Washington Associate Athletic Director, Chip Lydom.
Thank you, Bill. Wow, okay, here we go. It's an honor for me to be here tonight. I'm a UW grad, and I'm truly humbled by the star power, a room full of Husky legends. What a night. To begin the evening, we'll be honoring an individual with the very special Don L. Palmer Award, presented by the Big W Club. This is a non-athlete award, but it honors those who have exemplified special commitment to the University of Washington Athletic Department. Our honoree this year, you've heard a little bit about him. I hope you did get to visit the beautiful Hall of Fame room. This is a lot of his doing. He was named curator, I guess it's formal, but sort of formal, in the fall of 2000. Curator of the Hall of Fame, that is. He's been on the selection committee with all of us for 2 decades. He's a lifelong supporter who was involved with organizing alumni in the Portland area during the 1970s and 80s, including back when alums could recruit football players when it was legal. He formerly oversaw the Husky Coaches Tour and was co-chair of the campaign for the student athlete. And tonight, Dave Terrell, spoil the surprise, will be honored with the Don Palmer Award for his lifetime of contribution to University of Washington athletics. Now, personally, I work with Dave almost daily. I'm probably the closest person he connects with in the athletic department. And he just gives countless hours focusing energy on current and past Huskies. He's a one-man fountain of Husky tradition. Many of you know he's the go-to guy. Our inductees know that he reached out to each one of you, getting a nice artifact. But the best thing about Dave is his passion and his commitment. And I get to experience his wit and really his intelligence and his passion. He's got a couple sayings. He goes, "That's a Mother's Day miracle." That means something great happened. And he also said when we do well in the budget, he said that was a cheap date. So he's got little snippets that I always bring forward and think about. The physical Husky Hall of Fame room and all that it represents is at its core about excellence. And he personally ensures the greatest care and quality goes into every artifact and display. I appreciate the decades of service and help Dave has given me, and thank his wife Karen and his family who are here tonight. Karen is part of the team, and we're so happy to have the Terrells part of our lives. Finally, the one quality I wanted to highlight about Dave, among his many talents, is he always comes through. You can count on him. And in today's day and age, that is an important quality. His personal touch sets him apart from everyone else I've worked with. And his brand of care will never go out of style. So with that, I'd like to present and invite Dave up to the podium to accept his award for the Don Palmer Award 2021. Dave, come on up.
My predecessor here was talking about the good old days of Hec Ed. He wasn't here when, on this very spot, John F. Kennedy was speaking. And it's very emotional for me. My wife and I were right there. She was a Husky cheerleader, and that was the beginning of 60, 70 years of service to the University of Washington by our family. And I'm delighted to I'm delighted to receive this award, and people ask me, how did you get selected to be the curator of the Husky Hall of Fame? And I was part of the campaign for the student athlete, and what happened there was a great Husky, Tom Walthausen, and I were co-chairman of what they called a regional effort, and what we did was go out around the state and promote get-togethers for contributions to that great program. And the thing that sold me was when I saw the plans for the campaign for the student athlete, they did not touch the exterior of the most historic building in all of athletics, Hec Edmundson Pavilion. There are only 4 schools in the country that have a pavilion with the history of this: Duke, Kansas, Butler, and the UW. And because that was saved, I said, I want to participate in that. And it was a very, very different and long and extended process to be selected that I had to suffer through. My wife Karen and I were working on the campaign and got invited to Barbara Hedges and John's house for a dinner party. And the adult table was full. So John and Barbara and Karen and I sat on the stairs eating our dinner, and all of a sudden, and then any of you knew that Barbara would occasionally shriek. And she shrieked and she said, "My God, Dave Darrell, you're it." And I said, "What is it?" "You are now the curator of the Husky Hall of Fame." And I was selected among a field of 1 candidate. And so that was a good beginning. And all I had to do, with a lot of help from collectors, and one of them, Brian Blaisdell, is here sitting at our table tonight, made contact with the 4 greatest collectors of Husky memorabilia on the face of the earth. And those guys have participated throughout the last 40 years of providing us items to display, and maybe they take some back, maybe they're here for perpetuity, but it's what separates the real stuff from just a bunch of stuff. And all I had to do was fill 31 cases with memorabilia and stories in 2 years. It opened in 2002, and it's been going ever since. And let's not be dissuaded by the fact that this is a one-man job, because it isn't. Chip Lydom, who's in charge of facilities, is kind of the boss, and he's the go-to guy when something physical has to be done. Chip has a major weakness. The minute you show him something, he can't set it down until he's examined it completely, and if it's reading, he needs to read it too, because he doesn't want to miss a thing. And Brian Blaisdell and the collectors were kind of the same way. Jeff Bechtel has had a role from the sports information from the beginning. And when you have a Hall of Fame, people are very concerned about accuracy. And people are very concerned about spelling. And that's where Jeff Bechtel comes in. He is the master of all that kind of stuff. And anybody who doesn't know anything about punctuation for athletics has to turn to Jeff, because it's different than everything else in the English language. So he has been such a great helper. But the person who has held it together in the last many, many years is Marta Valdez. And she is like that great school teacher that looks after you and teaches you and takes care of you, and that's what she does with the rest of us. And she has done with her company, Doty and Associates, things all over the campus. But we know that the Hall of Fame is her favorite job. Now, since the Hall of Fame started in late 1970s, just over 200 people have been inducted. And the process of honoring those people is a big part of the Hall of Fame. There's always a case with the 6 or 8 inductees, and then that is there for 2 years, and our beautiful medallions for each of them is placed on a permanent display that's there forever. And the great thing is that if Jake Locker or Kristin Rivera or somebody comes with their grandkids, that's going to be there. So the things that we have been provided are so good, it's pretty easy to take care of it. And my personal, I would say, appreciations are mostly from outside the university. The other day, a 3 months ago, I saw a man in the Hall of Fame, and he was taking pictures of everything. And I went up to him and I said, "Can I help you?" I said, "I work here in this." He said, "I work for UCLA." And our athletic director had heard, and I'm up here for some kind of a meeting, and he said, "Have a look," this is what he told me, "have a look at their Hall of Fame, because it really pictures the history of the University of Washington. That's what we need at UCLA." And I've had similar feedback from fans that have been at events, and particularly when we had a few regionals, and there would be fans at the women's regionals from all over the country, and they would come in and say, "Gee, we don't have anything like this." And to me, that's the greatest part of all of it. So I have an idol. I got millions of idols, but my idol at the University of Washington is Edmund Meany. And a lot of us know about Meany Hall. And if you looked in a Tyee, which was the yearbook in the 20s, 30s, 40s, Edmund Meany's picture would be in there. And underneath it, it would say Keeper of Traditions. And the deal with Edmund Meany was they'd have all these pictures of the great things that he had. When I got here, they were all gone. And the reason they were gone, there was no facility that the university had stepped up and had the gumption to take care of. So what we've got tonight is something that we can leave the people that are inducted, these great athletes, and they will be able to come back and enjoy it forever, which is a great deal. And that's the greatest thing that could ever happen, to participate in something that's as good as that. Thank you.
David, congratulations. This guy is a font of information, as I said, and he became the rock star of our Husky pregame and tailgate show before the football games. All right, please enjoy your meal, and we will continue with the program in just a few minutes. I've got chills already just watching that video. Ladies and gentlemen, this is truly a remarkable, exceptional evening, and you'll hear it in the passion when the inductees come up and give you heartfelt messages on what it meant to wear purple and gold and be cheered on by fans and get a high-quality education in this place. Simply, we are honoring the best of the best who wore the purple and gold with the big W. In previous years, when I was asked and honored to host this event, I said to myself afterwards, my gosh, how could that class get any better? This is the third time, and I say it again. This is the cream of the crop. How can this class get any better? The prestigious group includes team captains, multiple All-Americans, conference and national champions, young people who use their athletic prowess and platform to change the world around them with their voices and a stance. And the common thread that I see among all of these new Hall of Famers tonight, they were and still are leaders of their time, influencers, if you want to use that word, and they have a deep affection for the University of Washington. Now, let's get this program going. A world-class university often attracts the best and brightest athletes from across the globe. And that certainly is the case from our first new Hall of Famer inductee. She came to Seattle from Nottingham, England. It's a whole court, if you will, the tennis court. UW's only four-time women's tennis All-American, 32 singles victories in one season, still stands as the school record. And she returned to her alma mater to help coach tennis. Here is more on Husky Hall of Fame inductee Claire Carter.
Claire was a master of the court. You know, Claire really understood and had skills that were exceptional.
She was the whole package. As a coach, you're always looking, for a good athlete, a good player, good student, and a good personality. And she was all of that. She had a great sense of humor and just had a really good outlook on life.
She brought a level of humility that number one players don't always bring to teams. She was the type of player that, she could smoke a opponent, 6-0, 6-1, and be off the court before anyone's finished their first set. And instead of going to the training room to recover, she would stay out on the courts cheering on her teammates and making sure that we brought home that W. And, that's what I always loved about Claire.
She was recruited by a lot of schools across the country, and some of them had already won NCAA titles. And she really was intrigued by going to a program that was up and coming and helping them make their own history. And she certainly did that, and really set a standard for, a new standard for Husky women's tennis players.
When we brought Claire in, she was a player that could compete against the top players, and that was a huge stepping stone for our program. With her 32 wins in one season, it's still a record, and then her 93 doubles wins in her career, it still stands as a record at UW. So, she just achieved great things.
When Claire came to UW, I remember, and I so vividly can picture her with her Razor scooter folded up on her backpack, and having, ridden around Kane Hall and down through the athletics just to get to practice on time. So that's just one of the fondest memories I have of her, because she, again, so humble, tons of fun, and always made every little thing an adventure.
Claire, congratulations on your induction into the Husky Hall of Fame. Well deserved. Go Dogs.
Claire, congratulations on being inducted into the UW Hall of Fame. I think you truly deserve it, and you've done amazing things here at UW.
You are such a fierce athlete, competitor, mother, sister, friend, and daughter, that I'm really grateful that our daughters are able to see you as a role model and watch you get inducted tonight. It's only going to raise the bar of what they're going to be able to achieve in their lifetime with their athletics. And so thank you for everything you do. Thank you for your friendship. Your father would be so proud, and congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, bestowing the purple jacket on Claire Carter is her former coach, Jill Holtquist.
Right up here. Okay, hi everybody. Firstly, I would like to say congratulations to all the other honorees. What a special class this is. It has been fun reacquainting and getting to know everyone this weekend. It was an emotional time being on the field yesterday with my teammates and family for the blanket parade and the Hall of Fame honor. Then my teammates sent me a montage video of messages last night that had me in tears, so I will try and get through this without more tears. I'm a big fan of sports, and I watched many of the other athletes here and teams compete on court or on the field, but also got to party with them off the field. My memory is not the best, but I do especially remember meeting alumni while in school and thinking, oh, they're so old. But now, here I am 20 years later, and I'm the old one. But age gives you the advantage of time and perspective, and sometimes you have to step away to see how truly special it all was. When I think back to how I got the opportunity to come to UW, I remember it was a difficult decision for me. I was contemplating going pro, going to university in England, and to leaving my family in England and choosing to come to college in the States. When I started looking at different colleges, I didn't know the difference between a community college and the Ivy League, or even where Arkansas and Arizona are. Although to this day, I'm still not sure where Arkansas is. But everything that I didn't know, I know that coming to the States was a fantastic opportunity. UW was actually one of the first schools I spoke to, and I had a great feeling about it. I felt really wanted by the coaches, Patty and Jill. They explained their vision for the program, and I wanted to be a part of a team that would build something. Also, coming from England, the rain never bothered me, but the heat of Georgia and Florida would have been quite an adjustment for me, so that definitely helped. Tennis is predominantly an individual sport, except for doubles, and I really thrived being a part of a team. Some of my teammates are here tonight, so a big thank you and shout out to Kathy, Amy, Dea, my doubles partner, senior year, for coming today, and of course, my coach, Jill. I was incredibly fortunate to be a part of an amazing class and an amazing team, and it's great to see so many of them here tonight. I received so much love from all my teammates when the Hall of Fame was announced. It was so lovely. The relationship that we built through countless hours of practice, travel, matches is still incredibly strong, and I'm thankful that at any time I can call or text and we can jump right back in like the good old days. I'm very proud of the achievements we made and the many firsts we had in our program history, such as beating USC, UCLA, Berkeley, making it into the top 10 in the rankings, and reaching the Elite 8 at the NCAAs twice. I'm very happy to have chosen UW and to have helped the team achieve the vision of Patty and Jill come true. One thing I specifically remember when I was leaving home in England was my mom said that I would meet an American, get married, have kids, and live in the States. I vividly remember laughing at this and thinking, why would I do that? Well, 21 years later, I'm still here, and my mom was right. I feel very lucky and thankful to have met in my sophomore year my husband, Dan, a fellow Husky, and we have two kind, strong, beautiful twin girls, Zoe and Gracie. They are here today, and hopefully, will be future Huskies one day. My kids and I thoroughly enjoyed hitting with the Husky team yesterday. Thank you to Coach Robin and Coach Georgia and the girls on the team for making us so welcome. The current team have a lot of potential, and I look forward to watching the seasons progress. I'm very grateful to the University of Washington for the opportunity and for the support I received my years in school. The Huskies are a family, and it's a wonderful community to be a part of. It really does take a village from trainers, academic advisors, nutritionists, tutors, donors. I specifically would like to thank the Snowy family who are here today. I'm sure many of you in this room know John and LaGale Snowy and their daughter Corey, who also played tennis and coached here too. I was very fortunate to be chosen to be the recipient of their endowment scholarship. They were and are wonderful supporters of the tennis program. They came to every match at Nordstrom Tennis Center and many on-the-road matches. One of my favorite memories, specifically of LaGale, who originally is from Texas, and I will apologize in advance for my poor Texan accent, but when LaGale watched my matches, which I admit sometimes could be roller coasters depending on the day, on good days when things were going my way, she would yell, "Come on, Claire." But on days when I wasn't up to scratch, she would reverse it with, "Claire, come on." And I knew I had to buck up. So a big thank you to you and all the donors and boosters, whether it's financial or coming out to support. Thank you to Jill, Kathy, and Corey for taking the time to record the video clips. I'd not seen the video and really enjoyed hearing your words, so I really appreciate that. Thank you. A few more thank yous to my family and friends at the tables here. I was very lucky to have met my husband in college and as a result be a part of his lovely family. Thank you to Scott and Patty for all their support and cheering me on in many matches. To Louise and Donald for traveling here from DC and supporting me, thank you. Sarah Keela, fellow Husky and basketball player. We got put together our freshman year in Haggett Hall and lived together as roomies. And after my senior year, she was my bridesmaid. So thank you for being here. My good friend Garth, who never missed a match and made the best posters, such as when we were competing against Oregon and encouraging us to eat duck soup. A big thank you to my family in England, my mom, my sister Jennifer, my brother Matthew, who sacrificed a lot when I was younger and supported me to help me play the game I love. I'm very appreciative of that, and being English, I probably don't say that enough. I would like to lastly thank my dad, who sadly passed away 3 years ago. He was my biggest supporter, and I know he's looking down, watching this with a big grin and giving me 2 thumbs up. Thank you again. I'm very grateful for this honor. I wouldn't have the life I now have if it wasn't for the University of Washington and the Husky family. Go Dogs.
Claire Carter. I think your Texas accent sounds a lot like Arkansas. Just like Claire, our next inductee had a remarkable athletic career and then came back to his alma mater as an assistant coach eventually. This guy, in fact, is undefeated as UW's interim head coach in a bowl game. Who can forget storied performances like 300 passing, 200 running, all in one game against Stanford? I guarantee you the Cardinal never forgot. And the glorious victory of the 2001 granddaddy of them all. Here is our next Hall of Fame inductee, Marques Tuiasosopo.
If you had to clone a quarterback, if you were a future Husky head coach and you were looking for a recipe for everything you want in a Husky football quarterback, I think you would start with Tui and you would realize that this guy's got everything I need. There's no need to even go to another quarterback to complete this recipe because he gave you everything you wanted as a head coach at Washington or as a fan.
He's always been a leader. He was always tough. And then that translated obviously into UW. You know, it's one of these things where you go into this intimidating environment. I mean, you're a young 18-year-old kid and you're coming to this unfamiliar place, and it's really intimidating. UW's big, the stadium and all the crowd and the history. There's not a better person to enter that environment with than with Marques, you know, just a consummate professional.
I had the pleasure to coach Marques in 1999 and 2000. And of course, 2000 was our Rose Bowl year that would culminate in Pasadena with a big victory over Purdue where Marques was the game's most valuable player. But Marques was the game's most valuable player in a lot of games that we played just because of his fighting spirit.
You mentioned the name Tuiasosopo on this campus, and all it does is inspire awesome memories, incredible moments, outstanding performances. I don't know if there's ever been or ever will be a family again that will have that kind of impact on this university, let alone any program in the Pac-10, if not the country. And as far as Marques, I just think he is absolutely the kind of guy that if you had a daughter, you would want her to bring home to date. Because he's a phenomenal person, he was a phenomenal player, and he's even a better man.
He always finished first in all the conditioning. He was always the first one to class. He was the leader that every coach dreams of having. He was a teammate that every teammate wishes they had. So it was just one of those things, and that's what every Husky strives to be, I think. And with all those attributes combined together with some freak athleticism, I think it made for a perfect Husky and someone that a lot of people wanted to replicate around him. And I think that's why there was so much success when we were there.
Marques, congratulations. So proud of you. Enjoy the night. You are the ultimate dog. Congratulations.
Marques, first of all, congratulations from not just me, but everybody in the Seattle Media Corps. You were a joy to watch. You were a joy to cover, and I think the biggest compliment I can give you, and I really hope your mom and dad are here tonight to hear this, you were a phenomenal player, but you're an even better person. I love you. Congratulations. It's been too long. The wait is finally over. Welcome home to the Husky Hall of Fame where you belong, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, bestowing the purple jacket to Marques Tuiasosopo are his children, Braden, Bryce, and Kylie.
Man, it fits. I was a little nervous. And I'm coaching and getting older. The weight doesn't come off as fast as it used to. Well, what a great night. Man, it feels great to be back here on Montlake in Hec Ed. We're at many fond memories of Matt drills. So the former players there, you know what I'm talking about. And Randy Hart. We used to have nightmares of his drill where he would just do his finger like that and you had to go the direction. And sometimes he'd move this way. And he would rotate the opposite way, and he'd always get us freshmen, and he'd have that little smile on his face. So every time I step in here, I always think of that. So it just feels great to see so many faces that have supported me in the past. I can't believe it's been 20 years. Claire, as you said, man, time flies. But I feel back at home, and it's awesome. Before I go any further, I just want to give all the honor and glory to God and my faith in His Son, Jesus Christ, because regardless of a great night tonight, whatever life has, he never changes for me. And I consider it blessed that I was graced to have 4 awesome years here at the University of Washington. So before I go any further, that is very important to me and my family. Congratulations to all the inductees. It's an awesome group. Some I know, some I don't know, but I watched. I go back to Eric Drew. We went to junior high together and high school. I'm going to geek out here. When I was a 7th grader, walk into Leota Junior High, Pat and I were like, dude, that's Eric Drew. And who would have thought that we're getting inducted on the same day? It's unbelievable. Craig Weibel, you were friends with my older sister. One of the first guys I met when I hung out with my sister, and he didn't know me from anybody, but he always stays in touch, and we might talk. We don't talk that much, but we seem to run into each other at weird places, but he's just an awesome dude. John Brockman, I think last time I ran into you, you were with your mom in Beverly Hills, about to have surgery, right? Me and my wife are having a date night, and then Jake Locker, just what an awesome young man and coach. I had the opportunity to coach. It's unbelievable to be part of this group. I'd like to thank first my family, my wife, and my 3 children who planes, trains, and automobiles the last 24 hours, playing a football game in San Antonio, drive back to Houston midnight, get on a plane. So I appreciate your support through this. And this building actually has relevance in our life. I met my wife sitting in these stands over here like 26 years ago watching Husky volleyball. And who would have thought, we'd get married and have kids. So University of Washington is a special, special place. Thank you to my parents, Manu and Tina. My siblings that are here is Zach and his wife Tasha, my little sister Ashley. I got my brother-in-law Anthony, my older sister Leslie. They should be here. I'm glad they beat the Beavs in 3, so she could potentially make it. So I know that she's on her way. And then my other brother Matt, he sent his well wishes. So thank you guys for all your support throughout the years. I'd also like to thank some special people in this room. To Ann and your late husband, Wayne Gittinger, who endowed my scholarship for 4 years, and the support that your family has given me. Whether it was before a game or after a game, always there to give a hug and a high five. Ron and Wanda Crockett, your support, as little as it may seem, it goes a long ways for this program. You touch my life, I know you've touched many others, so thank you so much. The Bernard family, I'm going to miss some here. But this is a special, special place, and I thank every one of you guys for what you've done, not only for myself, but for the football program and the athletic department. And then it's hard for me to accept these things for myself. So you got to understand, we play a team game, and when you play a team game, this doesn't happen all by yourself. And so, man, the guys that I play with, we came to Washington because we wanted to wear that purple and that gold. We wanted to run out that tunnel, and we wanted to hit somebody. Man, we wanted to be Mark Brunell. We wanted to be Warren Moon. We wanted to be Napoleon Kaufman, Gregg Lewis. That's who we wanted to be. And I love those guys. Before there was the arms race with all the facilities, NIL, all the look at me and what am I going to get out of college? The group that I got to play with, man, those guys were tough. We committed to each other. We stood on that chair. We said we were never going to quit. And the old guys, they wouldn't let us get off until we said it the way they wanted us to say it. So you had to say it with some gusto, you know what I'm saying? And so there's something to that. That's what made this place special when I was here. We weren't going to quit. It wasn't always pretty, but we committed to each other that we were never, ever, ever going to quit or give up. And I think that spirit is what drove us, ultimately, to get that Rose Bowl. And that's what's special. That's what makes, I think, Washington football or this program special. There's an inherent toughness. I don't know when it was started, but it was carried on. Okay? And then there's this togetherness. There's this brotherhood in that locker room. I thought I was going to go to UCLA. That's where I wanted to go growing up my whole life because my dad went there. But when I got to the recruiting age and I got to be around this program, something spoke to me. And that's what I remember. That's what drove me. And because my teammates were right there with me, we could do something special. And so I accept this in behalf of them. I wish you could say my name, but I wish you could say all their names, because without them, none of that would happen. I'd like to thank my coaches, late Jim Lambright, Dick Bayard, and Bill Diedrich for believing in me. Before someone can go do something, someone has to believe in them. And so those guys did, when not many would. A lot of people wanted me to play another position than quarterback, but those three guys said I could do it. And so here I am. Carl Darrell, Scott Linehan, all these guys played into my progress as a student athlete. And then two in particular, Steve Axeman and Keith Gilbertson. Man, they had just a way to relate with me and push the right buttons to get me to play my best. And so I want to thank them right now tonight. I want to thank Coach Neuheisel for the kind words. I want to thank Softy for the kind words. And then one of my best friends, Pat Conoff, who I grew up with, junior high football, high school football, and college football. And so this is a unique place. It's a special place. And I'm proud to be a Husky, and I'm proud to wear this, not only for myself, but for my teammates. Thank you very much.
Sensational. Thank you, Marques, and congratulations. Good luck to the Rice Owls. The Sounders are among Seattle's most prolific and successful professional sports franchise, thanks in part to their connection with the University of Washington soccer program. This year's roster, for instance, includes the goalkeeper, Spencer Ritchie, Kellen Rowe, and the captain, Christian Roldan. Our next Hall of Famer helped UW reach 3 NCAA soccer tournaments, and they won 4 MLS Cups. He was on those teams. Last April, he was named the sporting director for Seattle Sounders FC. Ladies and gentlemen, here's our next inductee, Craig Weibel.
When I hear the name Craig Weibel, what I think is a true winner. But what's so unique about Craig is that he's not a big personality who draws all the limelight. He's the connector that makes the team better. And wherever he's been, he's sort of been the glue guy who's made everyone around him successful.
Yeah, Craig was a hard-nosed player, hard-nosed coach. When I was here with him, he embodied the leadership role, but also the communication role within the players in the soccer field. He brings that culture, his team together with his communication and his ability to perform under high pressure.
What I remember about recruiting Craig out of high school was his raw athletic potential, his genuine excitement to join the Husky men's soccer program, and his can-do attitude. Once Craig decided to attend UW, he seemed to radiate a self-confidence and a conviction that he would one day make a positive impact upon our soccer program. Craig's induction here tonight is clear evidence he did exactly that.
He was a defender and a tough competitor that never looked for the limelight, but always was, the first one sort of to training, the first one to, if there's a competitive thing, he's winning it or he's trying to win it. And he didn't always have the ability to win everything, but he was certainly going to push and make sure the other guy won it. So just a dogged, determined guy. Over time, he will wear you out and win you over.
Congratulations, Wives. Thank you so much for all that you've done for me, but this is about you. You've done all the hard work. You deserve this. You've left the tradition and the winning culture behind, and it continues to grow because of you.
A special congratulation goes out to my friend and former player, Craig Weibel. Craig, you have bestowed great pride and recognition upon yourself, your entire family, and the Husky men's soccer program. I'm honored to be part of your enshrinement here tonight.
When I think of my kid and someone he should emulate in his future, I think of you. You've done everything right. You've propelled this program to be a national power. You've done it with class. You've done it with determination. And you're the sort of person that this whole department looks to and thinks about fondly. I want to say congratulations to yourself, Julie, and Jocelyn. Your whole family should be very proud today, and I'm very proud of you too.
Bestowing the purple jacket on Craig Weibel is the UW men's soccer coach, Jamie Clark.
Wow. I ordered mine tight, Marques. This way my daughter can wear it. I grew up in northern Idaho and eastern Washington, and I was fortunate enough to be my mother and daughter and father's child. You know, my mom was one of 11, so we'd go to Christmas, and I was just one of a really big family. It was 70, and then it was 80, and every year there were people I didn't know, and it was just introductions and getting to know you. And then at about 9 o'clock at night, the card tables came out and the Scrabble boards came out. And my mom would lay waste to me with her sisters. 300, 400, and I would score 80. I was in 4th grade. It was a little relentless, but there were lessons to be taken for me. And as I grew, I just fell in love with this sport that no one else in northern Idaho seemed to love. When I was in Coeur d'Alene, I remember the first team I tried out for, there were 6 of us trying out. It turns out we made it. I like to think I was the first. I placed somewhere in the top 5 because the 6th guy didn't come back. So I felt good. I felt really good back then. You know, baseball, football, all these things, basketball, we played everything growing up. And it was a bygone era where we grew up playing so many different sports and experiencing everything as a child. In the winters in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, coming home, the backpack goes down, you grab your ice skates, and you go play ice hockey. It was the only thing we could clear to play. And it just taught us how to endure and how to persevere in whatever we were accomplishing, whatever we were attacking. And once we moved to Spokane, Washington when I was in 8th grade. And it was such a wonderful experience for me to get a little bit farther away from purgatory down in the Palouse and a little closer to Seattle where the good land lies. And you know, as I went through my experience in high school and played basketball and experienced so many different sports, I was really fortunate. This was back in the day, a couple decades ago. Obviously, Marques sold me out. I'm a little older than he is, so you can date me. But you know, the recruiting process was interesting. We had a local school in Spokane that recruited me, and the team was going to be built around me and everything. And I came on a recruiting visit to Washington, and I'll never forget meeting with Dean Wurzberger and Dave Chesler. And he was the one coach that looked me in the eye and said, you know, I don't know if you'll play for me. I want you, but I don't know if you'll play for me. And I remember going home and talking to my parents about it, and I thought, I didn't like that. And then I thought about it more, and I digested it, and it became the challenge I needed. You know, I never want to go into something comfortable. I always want to challenge myself to grow, and I know so many of us in this room approach it the same way. Without that perseverance and that endeavor to just over-accomplish, to see through things, none of us would be in this room tonight. I want to congratulate all the nominees that came before us, as well as everyone being inducted tonight, because there's a lot of odds we've overcome. There's a lot of no's. There's a lot of successes, but there's a lot of failures that we endure individually. And along the way, we accomplish great things. And when I came here, I go back to being that kid in that family that grew every year in Lewiston. I was just a kid, part of a big family. And that's what happened when I got here. I didn't realize it my freshman year. I didn't learn it my sophomore year. But thankfully, and you might not hear this very often, I got injured my junior year. And I ended up redshirting. And I grew the most in that year that I grew in any year here. And I got to witness everyone that makes this place work. Because as a young adult, you don't always take in exactly everything going on around you, all the people that work really hard to give you an opportunity. But seeing the athletic training staff, the performance staff, we had sports psychology coming into our department at that time. And we got to work with them and the coaches, and how all the coaches supported each other. And being able to watch the administration and the academic staff really support us. It taught me I was actually part of this. And it taught me to appreciate the experience. And it made me better. But not as an athlete. It just made me a better person. I heard something not too long ago, happiness leads to winning, leads to happiness. And that's what this was for me. My daughter and I are criers, so I apologize. Happiness leads to winning, leads to happiness. And that's what this experience was. I felt it when I left. I felt it the last time I took my jersey off. I felt it when Jamie brought me back. Thank you. To give back as a coach, boy, what a special thing. To see those players that reminded me too much of myself. The hardest ones for me to coach, one of them sitting in the back, Ben Fisk. The hardest thing for me was to figure out how to coach myself. I could coach other personalities, but that was the hardest one. And I can't imagine what Dean and Dave and these guys went through to get me to accomplish being a leader and being a community person and being part of this family. I was fortunate to do it. I was fortunate that Jamie encouraged me when I had an opportunity to go into the professional game coaching. And thankfully, I'm back. I'm back with the Sounders. Everything revolves around Seattle. I am so lucky that my compass pointed west when both my brothers' compasses pointed south. I want to thank so many people, but my family for giving up so much, as everyone in this room has. My wife, my daughter especially, because anyone coaching knows this, that everyone sees you when you're on TV or on a stage, but no one sees you when you're packing boxes. And no one sees you when you're starting over. So, thank you for that. Try and get a hold of myself. And thank you to everyone in the room. My teammates, former coaches, Frank, thank you for coming tonight. Marty, Joe, Spencer, someone I did coach, Bill. It means a lot. I am the first representative of men's soccer in the Husky Hall of Fame. I won't be the last, I promise. There's a lot of us that bleed, like Marques said. There's a lot of teammates that make this possible. The good thing for me, I know the stage looks empty, but I feel like I'm standing shoulder to shoulder with all the people that made this possible. So thank you so much. This is a night that means so much to me. Appreciate it.
Congratulations again, Craig Weibel. Was just thinking with the entourage supporting Marques Tuiasosopo and our next inductee, how many people are in Woodinville tonight? Like half the city here. This man became the first in 40 years of Washington tennis to reach the NCAA singles semifinals. That's a remarkable run. He earned All-American honors in doubles as well, and like some previous Hall of Famers, he is now helping to coach current UW tennis players. You just can't ever leave this place, can you? Here's our next Hall of Fame inductee, Eric Drew.
There were three things right away that stood out for me when I was recruiting Eric. First, he was very athletic. Second, he was willing to play an aggressive style And lastly, he hated to lose. And sometimes people that hate to lose are not willing to play aggressive. And I just felt that with the combination of all three, he had a lot of potential, not only to start well, but hopefully to go on and have a great career.
He was a really good athlete at a time when a lot of tennis players were grinders. They were a little bit more robotic. He was loose, and he played really fluid. His years of growing up playing basketball, he had an in-your-face approach and mentality to tennis that you just didn't see. I mean, he didn't get intimidated by anyone from the time that he was younger growing up all the way through college. And he wasn't above talking a little smack to get into the other guy's head, it's just not something that you saw in tennis, which I think also sort of aided him in his playing days.
Unbelievable athlete, very raw athlete. He got better and better as he got older and matured, and I think probably played his best tennis while he was at UW and made a run at the NCAA singles final. I know he had a huge presence on the team. I know the team meant so much to him.
He reached the semifinals of the NCAAs, which was something a Husky hadn't done in 44 years. And that doesn't take someone foreign to the game to realize how important that is. I mean, it was just crucial for us as a program. We had not won an NCAA tournament match until Eric was on the team. We had never reached the top 25 in the rankings, which we did in his sophomore year. We had never reached the top 10, which we finally did his senior year. And so it just shows kind of a turning point in our program as a whole.
Big E, that's your nickname. I don't know if everybody around the UW knows that, but that was your name growing up. Congratulations, it's an incredible honor. I think it's a testament to your hard work, your dedication growing up. And when they say hard work does pay off, I think this is evidence of it. So I'm really proud of you. It's an amazing achievement, and I'm really happy that I can be a part of it.
Drew's a very special person. He's an incredible athlete. I know how proud he is of his time at UW and his accomplishments there. And I just wanted to congratulate you, Drewsy, on being inducted into their Hall of Fame. They are very fortunate to have you. It is a better Hall of Fame because you're in it. I love you, buddy. Congrats.
Eric, congratulations on making the Hall of Fame. It has been a long road, and up and down, but you don't make it without excellence. And it's something that I feel proud of, but you're the one that earned this, and through the work and through the success. So congratulations.
Now here to bestow the purple jacket for Eric Drew is Mother Billy and Brother Ryan.
Wow. Extremely grateful, humbled by all the other Hall of Fame inductees. Feel really fortunate to be here. Thank God for that. Mom, Ryan, thank you. Love you. Matt, thank you. I met Matt when I was 15 years old. My dad saw an article in the Tennis Times, and always looking for an edge. Matt was working at the Renton Athletic Club, and the assistant coach, he drove me out to meet him. And little did I know that Matt would be my coach, he would be my mentor, and now I can call him a really good friend, a lifetime friend. And I just don't know how special that can be. So Matt, thanks so much. I'm blown away by everything here. I mean, Marques here, Pat Conniff, I can't believe it. Danielle came out, who I've known since 5th grade. Q, the whole table, Scott, Chet, Chad, Nick. thankful for all you guys. My prayer warriors back there and the table back there, thanks so much for showing up. I started volunteering for the team 5 or 6 years ago, and at that point I had no idea what kind of impact that would have on my life. It gave me a real sense of purpose. It was a time in my life where I needed that. As I'm sure we all have at some points, we doubt ourselves or we lose our faith, and we need our family to pick us back up and show us who we are, tell us who we are, until we regain that faith and believe in ourselves again. And I truly believe that. Volunteering has been amazing. I have a small family, and my brother and I talked about this not long ago, where we said, well, we have a small tribe. Well, I don't believe family is just your immediate family. I think family is people that love and respect you, that you meet along the way, that care for you, that believe in you. And I truly feel that way about the Huskies. It's given me a real identity. It's given me a purpose with my life. And I'm so thankful for that. My mom, my brother was my idol growing up, 8 years older, played basketball at Cal, and for anybody that knows me knows that I absolutely did everything just like him when I was young. All his outfits and all his shoes, and I followed him around, and he was my idol. I really looked up to him and still do, and thankful for him in my life. My mom, we've really worked hard here these last 2 years. Probably been the toughest 2 years of my life with the passing of my father, who I just can't say enough about. There probably hasn't been a day that's gone by in the last couple years that I haven't thought of him and cried most of the day-to-day thinking about him. And when you're an athlete and you're growing up and you have a dad that's involved in the things you do, with your dad, it's an amazing thing. The car rides, the speeches, the tournaments, the sweat and the tears. And my dad was my best friend. He was my coach. He was my fishing partner. And I know he's up there right now really thinking about this moment. And I'm sure he's up there crying if I know him well. My mom and I have persevered through here these last 2 years, and I'm so thankful for her. Mom, you've been a warrior and still are for being here tonight, and I appreciate that. And I'm just thankful for everybody in this room, the whole Husky family, all the trainers and all the people that I've met, and the road trips and the players. It's really lifted me up. It's lifted my spirits up. And you go through the day-and-day grind, and you get around this university, and it infuses you with positivity. And people put their arm around you, you put your arm around them, and it's all love. It's all love. And I just feel so fortunate to be up here speaking on behalf of the Huskies and my teammates. I got to give a shout out to Robert Kendrick, who's one of my good friends. We were All-American doubles team together. He's thinking about me. I'm thinking about him. And it's just nice to be out here with everybody and all the love and support. Like I said, I just feel extremely humbled being at that football game last night and walking out on that field and having my family be up in the stands. It was one of the happiest days of my life. And I'm just thankful for Husky Nation and having such a big family. So thank you, and go Dogs.
Terrific. Thank you, Eric, and congratulations. Can we all now call you Big E? Mighty are the women It's a custom T-shirt Coach Tar graciously gave me a couple of years ago for my wife to wear, and Connie is a UW alum. There have been many, many mighty women in the powerful Husky softball program, including our next inductee. She is Washington's only four-time All-American, still the only UW player to earn a Pac-10 or Pac-12 Player of the Year, and she did so twice. And this woman still holds program records for most career home runs and most walks. Talk about a good eye. Ladies and gentlemen, here's our next inductee, Kristin Rivera.
Well, Kristen came in and I think everyone felt her presence right away. Obviously, you know, you don't become an All-American that many times, and everybody knows about the All-American accolades, but what I think they don't know is how many times she was the Diamond Catcher of the Year. So across the entire country, she won that award multiple times, and was just a force, and everyone knew it from day one.
As talented as she was as an individual, her heart was to lift other people up, challenge them, go beat other people, and impose their will upon them, but do it as the pack. That's her strength, and while she stood alone, her team stood around her, and she liked to lift them up, and that's exactly where they like to play as well.
Fierce competitor, power, unlike anything I had seen in a female athlete, and there's a quiet intensity also about Kristen, and just a lot of good memories from an individual that allowed me as a coach to go as far as we possibly could.
She had a quiet support. Like, people knew she had their back without a lot of exchange taking place. So she was just a presence.
While she could stand head and shoulders above the pack, she knew the strength was with them, and there couldn't be a better example of someone to lead this team.
When someone can kind of take over not only what's happening in a game, but instill a faith in her teammates that anything is possible, and that was Kristen.
Interestingly, I think now you've been out and you live a little bit of life and you get a few life experiences, and now you get to come back and be recognized and honored and inducted into the Husky Hall of Fame, and I just think that's amazing. I want to say congratulations, how well deserved it is, how proud I am of you, and just glad that you became a Husky, so congratulations.
I truly wish I was there in person to celebrate you and honor you as you get inducted today. Could not think of a better place for you to be memorialized and honored in history in the University of Washington Athletic Department. Congratulations.
You gave me memories both as a coach, as a father, as a mentor, and I really don't think it would have been fully possible without you being a part of that. I wish you the best, and I'm so very, very happy for the career you have now. It couldn't happen to a more deserving person, and it's a lot of love, a lot of fond memories, and I just simply wish you the best. Congratulations.
To bestow the purple jacket on Kristin Rivera, her grandmother, Milagros Jimenez.
All right.
So excited to be here. First of all, it's amazing that my grandmother's here. Hitting a shortstop on the run, I know Jake and Marques, you hit wide receivers, but hitting a shortstop on the run, I think I learned it from her. She had, anytime me and my brother got into trouble, we had the flying chancleta. So in Hispanic heritage, you take off that slipper and she could hit us from anywhere, running anywhere, trying to get away from her, diving into our room. So that's where I got my aim from, so I couldn't be more thankful that she is here with me. So everybody's set up here. I don't think there's anything different that I can say. Being in a team sport, it's really about everyone that was around me. I had family support growing up, teammates, coaches pushing me, support. Mike Brown, I know you're out there, a huge supporter of the program, all the boosters, everyone that came before me into the program, and the foundation that was built. Listening, my freshman year in college was actually the year of the 10-year of the softball program. And getting to hear Tar was there and some of the ones who started the program, and hearing their adventure through driving over to Bellevue, playing on fields with rocks, and how they built that program. So very exciting to see. I never actually thought I would play softball at the University of Washington, to be completely honest. I was about 7 years old when I first started my journey in the softball realm. And it started actually with my brother, who was a baseball player, and wanted to practice, so he grabbed his little sister and decided to throw balls at me, which I had no idea how to catch. So I was like, oh gosh, I better get better. I want to be able to catch this instead of getting hit in the shoulder, hit in the leg, and all those things. So that's how I got my start in softball. And then I was about 9 years old, and I joined a team. My grandfather took me to the store, and I bought my first softball bat. And that first softball bat was 34 inches long, 28 ounces heavy. To kind of put that in perspective, in college I used a 33-ounce bat, or 33-inch bat. That was 25 ounces. So imagine this kid lugging this 28-ounce bat around. But it taught me strength. And my grandfather was there just supporting me through it. He was like, yo, okay, you can swing it? Yeah, I can swing it. We'll figure it out. And then going into travel ball. So softball in the younger years was not what it is today. There were not very many teams. There was a lot of competition out there. There was an article in high school about me about believe what they say. So as my coaches stated in there, I'm the quiet leader. Like, this spotlight it's different for me because I want my team to do well. So travel ball hits. I get picked to go to this top-notch team, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to go. We go to nationals, and at that point in time, they did pick up players. And I picked up for this team. It was called Hot Stuff at the time, became Miners Gold. And Larry Minor at that point in time gave me a chance. So my journey to Washington started in that moment. They didn't want to interrupt the chemistry on that team in the infield, so I wasn't playing catcher. I was a shortstop, third baseman at the time. I remember playing right field. And I remember Teresa Wilson in the stands and a few other coaches out there. And I'm playing right field. I have no idea what I'm doing. I've been playing there for like a week. And so all of a sudden, this ball gets hit over my head. I go back on the ball. I miss both of my cutoffs, both of them. And then I overthrew the catcher. And I never thought at that moment that I would be standing here with a Hall of Fame jacket on, let alone put on a Husky jersey at that point. And it was a very humbling moment that Teresa still came to watch me and still had the faith in me, still saw the potential. And then supporters as I got into college. First of all, I didn't think I was going to come here because I'm from California and it rains too much. But I love the rain, they came to find out. So as soon as I stepped foot on Husky soil, you could feel the energy, you could feel the atmosphere and the family that is here. And you can see it tonight with all of you out there supporting all of us that are getting inducted tonight. And it's a very real feeling. And that's what I love about the University of Washington. The fact that, you know, you have the boosters, you have all the support. My first home game, I'll never forget. I was like, the band comes out for us and they play for us? This is awesome. And just the amount of support with the athletes from sport to sport. I know on my recruiting trip, I was out on the field watching Marques play. It was just an amazing feeling around campus. I'm very, very humbled to be standing here after all this time and after all that, you know, the team has gone through. I'm very, very happy that the team finally won a national championship. And I'm looking forward to watching many more. Thank you all.
Thank you, Kristin Rivera, and congratulations. Sometimes coaches have a real tough time convincing the local kids stay home, come play for us, especially when he is a heavily recruited McDonald's High School All-American from Snohomish. Our next inductee proved staying home was a good plan. During a sensational basketball career, he also showed us that heart and hard work can overcome a height challenge, although he's still a pretty big dude. He still holds the Husky single season and career rebounding records, 3-time team captain. He helped the Dogs reach the Sweet 16. And the next inductee is John Brockman.
When I think of John Brockman, there's a few words that come to mind. Integrity was one of them. Hardworking. He's the hardest working person I've ever come across, especially like as far as competing in practice, day to day, in the games. There's no person I'd rather go to war with than John.
It's pretty, you know, it's hard to put into words how good of a teammate and a friend John was. I was always kind of the younger brother, starting off with Friends of Hoop, our AU team. When I joined up with them, they were pretty well established, and I was kind of the young guy trying to make my way. And from day one, he especially welcomed me with open arms in what was a pretty intimidating atmosphere.
Every day, John Brockman, for 4 years, practiced as if he were trying to make the team. Someone with all of that ability just doesn't usually possess that type of gift. Every day he got after it, every drill. And him coming to Washington, I believe, continued to make Washington a viable option for people to come, the locals, to come to the University of Washington. I think it gave us national respect to know that John Brockman, a McDonald's All-American, someone that had won countless championships in the summer in travel ball, was very good with his high school team, gave us a lot of credibility.
You're talking about 3 McDonald's All-Americans, and John was a Gatorade Player of the Year. I think that says kind of all you need to know about his reputation and his production before he even got to the University of Washington.
John was a leader that just showed more than he told. You know, if he had to, he would come out and speak and be vocal about it. But the fact that you see his blood, sweat, and tears on the floor every single day and being that type of leader, it really set the tone for all of us. We all fell in line because he was doing the things that everyone should have been doing, the dirty work. He was doing the job that from 1 to the 15th guy should have been doing. And so John is unbelievable leader, unbelievable person, and you know, I owe him a lot of credit for my career.
Want to say congratulations. So happy for you and your family. It's so well-deserved that you're going in the Husky Hall of Fame. I can't think of anybody that's earned it more than you have, and so happy for you, and can't wait to celebrate your night and then celebrate your baby.
John, you are not only being inducted to the Hall of Fame for what you've done on the basketball floor, but as far as I'm concerned, you're a Hall of Fame person before you even came to the University of Washington. You're a Hall of Fame teammate. You're a Hall of Fame player to coach. Congratulations.
It meant so much to us as Husky Nation, and without you, I don't know if would have had the runs we had or the careers we've had. And without you, man, I don't know I'll be the person I am today as far as hard work, determination, grit, and integrity on and off the floor. You exemplified so much for me, and you know I love your brother, love your family, and congratulations, man. Well deserved.
Bestowing the purple jacket on John Brockman tonight, his former head coach, Lorenzo Romar.
I always wanted a purple jacket like Coach Romar. I promise I'll never throw this one on the ground when a ref makes a bad call. When I got the call from Jen that I was going to be inducted, I was a little surprised. I'm not a big records guy. I don't remember points from certain games, seasons, rebounds. I was a little surprised and a little taken back. Part of me felt like my time here was just yesterday. Other times it feels like it's been a really long time. Been 12 years. I remember actually standing in that tunnel right there, an 18-year-old. We were just finishing training camp, so conditioning week. And Bobby Jones, who's sitting here, I think he could see it in my eyes, like this kid is just drained. And he looked back at me and he said, "Enjoy it, it'll go quick." And Bobby probably doesn't remember that at all. But it really just stood out to me because before I knew it, we were playing Purdue in the NCAA tournament, and it was just gone. Another thing that really got brought to my attention was just the reasons what brought me here, why I decided to come to the University of Washington. And the first thing is Coach Romar. And ironically, one of the biggest impacts I had was on my recruiting trip to UCLA. On that trip, the team let me and my parents go to breakfast. They set up a breakfast with Coach John Wooden. And at that breakfast, John Wooden told us this amazing story about these college coaches that'll just go to the ends of the earth to get athletes and say whatever needs to be said. And during that breakfast, I realized Coach Wooden was telling me some of the coaches are a bunch of liars. And I remember thinking that was just really funny because the one coach who wasn't promising me a thing, never told me I would start, never guaranteed me any playing time, was Coach Romar. And that was one of the things that really stood out to me, and another thing that I could just feel the fact that he told me I wasn't going to start. He told me I wasn't going to get any amount of playing time, but he made me believe that he believed in me. And he knew if I came in and did what I needed to do, then that playing time would be earned. No better man to learn the game of basketball from, to learn about becoming a man myself, and just playing for Coach Romar it was just an amazing experience for me. The second reason that really pushed me to come to the University of Washington was my family, who all showed up here tonight. I think the last time we were all actually in this gym was that picture when we beat Wazoo at the end of the season to win the Pac-10 championship. So just bringing back those memories is extremely special. The idea of being able to represent my community, represent where I was raised, wear Washington on my jersey, and share that experience with all the people that helped me get to this point, all my coaches and friends and teachers. That was a huge draw for me. Also, having my parents about a 45-minute drive away to help me get my car out of impound after I'd accumulated a few too many tickets. That actually happened 3 times. But having them so close was just amazing to be able to share with them. The thing that I didn't expect was the fact that my community was just going to grow. And the Husky family, all my coaches, trainers, especially my teammates, many faces who are here today joined my community and became a part of my community and who I was. And that's what makes coming back so special. When I'm away from UW, it feels like it's been a long time since I've been here. When I come back to a game, to a practice, to an event, it feels like just yesterday. And that's part of what just makes it amazingly special. A really funny thing happens when you graduate. UW it's just a part of your life. The team is a part of your life. School is a part of your life. And when you leave, it's kind of over. It's just done. But the machine keeps moving. The team keeps playing. And I remember that being a really odd feeling. Just a really strange feeling. But the amazing thing is, because of the community, because of the people who helped me get to the point of playing basketball at a college level, we're always a part of that machine. We are that machine. We are the people that support the incoming players, that support all the athletes, all the ushers. We're the people that are just here together, and we are Husky Nation. And I just thank everyone for this amazing award. Being able to wear this jacket is extremely special to me. My beautiful wife is here, and she was not a Husky, but one of the great things for me has been to help share all my experiences, all the places that I lived while I was here, just the little things with her. And I cannot wait to share all those experiences with our daughter, who will be here in about 6 weeks. So thank you, Huskies. Thank you, Husky Nation. I really appreciate it. And congratulations to all the other inductees. It's been awesome, and just well done, guys. Thanks.
Congratulations several times after that terrific message. Thank you, John. There's an old adage in sports: tough times don't last, tough people do. And those words, I think, are really, really true about our next Hall of Fame inductee. After some lean years, he led Washington football to a winning 2010 season and a little revenge in the Holiday Bowl against Big Red, Nebraska. He ran for nearly 2,000 yards in his career, still a UW record for quarterbacks, and after a sterling NFL career, returned to his roots in Whatcom County. Here is our next Hall of Fame inductee, Jake Locker.
When I hear the name Jake Locker, personally, I think about his big, carefree, giving heart. A guy who will literally give a stranger the shirt off his back. A man whose family and friends mean the world to him.
Such a phenomenal athlete, can run, can throw, can catch. And I think anybody that watched Jake play, whether it be football or when he played baseball or any other sport, you just see what a phenomenal athlete he was. And the other thing is toughness. Jake's maybe one of the toughest guys I've ever been around. And when you talk about availability to position, the position of quarterback, everybody talks about how available as a player. Jake played through a lot of things and never complained once.
He's a really humble guy. I came from Nebraska, and I actually had no idea who he was And we became friends right away. You know, I felt like he accepted a lot of us in that we're from out of state, and I played offense and so did he. I only knew who he was by when we were going to restaurants or things, people kept walking up to him and like shaking his hand. I was like, man, what is going on? But that's the kind of guy he is you would never know anything like that he had all this prestige coming in, because he does stay humble.
Anybody that's spent time with Jake or been around Jake knows how special he is. And Jake, to you and your family, you are special. And I want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. You're truly one of the Husky greats, and to see you be recognized this way with you know, the people you deserve to be recognized with, I want to congratulate you.
Jake, congratulations on getting into the Hall of Fame. It's been a pleasure playing with you. I'm really proud of you that you're receiving this honor. I'm more proud of the man you are and the man you're helping other people be. And I'm also happy to see you be put in the Hall of Fame alongside your wife on the 2009 softball team. So congrats to all of you, and I'm really happy for you.
I can't think of a more deserving guy who gave his all for the team, shouldered the burden and expectations of being the savior of a struggling program, but did it all with grace and compassion. It was an honor to share the field with you, but it's even a greater honor that I can call you a friend. Congrats.
To bestow the purple jacket on Jake Locker, his dad, Scott.
Well, it's a little, I told my dad, you got to be careful or it's going to be like a Chris Farley skit up here and I'm going to break this jacket in half. So I think I might have gave him the wrong size. Well, congratulations to everybody else that's got inducted tonight. Just honored, honestly, to be able to share the same stage with you. And it's also nice to know that my car was not the only one that got impounded, John, so I appreciate that. As I thought about what I was going to say tonight, I found myself thinking about the new kingdom and the new heaven that our Lord and Savior talks about bringing in. And it's one of, it's multicultural, it's multi-ethnic, it's multiracial. It brings people from all different places. It brings people from all different backgrounds, all different stories, good, bad, prosperity, poverty, and it brings them all together. It brings them all together in this beautiful community of union. Where they find a common good. They're all there for one purpose, and they find this good in what they give up for those around them. Not what they get for themselves, not what they can take for themselves, but what they can give up on the behalf of others. And as I thought about that, I thought about what a wonderful, you know, I wish I would have realized these things when I was playing. I was too worried about winning, I guess, but I didn't think as much about it at that time. Football allowed me that opportunity. It allowed me that community to come into a place and experience people like those guys that I never would have met otherwise. I never would have got to share my life with, and I never would have got to share their life with me. And in so many ways, it falls short, just like all the things that we create and we make up in our own minds. It falls short of that beautiful glory that we'll once get to walk in someday. But man, I can honestly stand here and say that football for me has allowed me to walk in a community and experience what life and life more abundant feels like with people that I've learned so much about who I am, about who we are as human beings, and the beauty that we can bring to one another as we lay down our lives and we get to listen and learn and love alongside those next to us. And so, you know, as somebody that grew up in a small town with a wonderful family, a wonderful community, but if I'm being honest, a community that had pretty similar experiences. To get to come to a place where I got to share rooms with guys that our lives looked totally different. But when we got to have conversations, I got to hear those conversations because I loved them. I cared about them. We built a friendship. We had built a relationship that allowed us to have a lot of the conversations that I think a lot of us are struggling to have today, because we don't care to have a relationship. We don't care to see people in front of us. We want to just solve the problems. As I look back on the time that I got to spend here, so fortunate for it, so thankful for it. But man, the real beauty of it is that it was bigger than even my plan or the UW's plan or any of those other players. There was a wonderful plan that was put in place, and I got to be a part of it. And I'm better for it forever, because I got to be a part of people's lives and experiences that I never otherwise would have had or got to learn about. And they're helping me to become a human being that cares more about the people around me than I do myself. And that's a wonderful place to be. I'm super thankful to all the guys that I got to play with. I think you've heard everybody say it. It's kind of awkward, to be honest, to stand up here and accept an award when every time I took the field, there was at least 10 other guys that I could directly point to that said my success is dependent upon them. I am a dependent of them. I can't do this on my own, and I was fully aware of that. And so, as so many have reiterated already today, I don't accept this award, to be honest with you, because it's really a reflection of all the guys that I got to share the locker room with for 5 years that I was here. They're the reason that I get to stand here. They're the reason that my name will be, wherever it is here. So I ask all of you guys, in those moments when you get to go in, when you get to experience that, I'm sure I would speak for everybody here that's in the same place that's got to share this stage tonight. But I ask you not to think of me. I ask you to think of the people that collectively got to come together, that collectively got to share their lives with one another. 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old young men trying to figure this world out, and we got to do it alongside one another. And we got to play in some football games, and what a joy that was. So it leads me to the only place that I can really go to. I know it's kind of what you do all the time here, but I'm just thankful. So I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the school for allowing me the opportunity to come here and play. So grateful for this place and the people that it allowed me to live life alongside. I want to say thank you to the staff. And there's so many people that are on the stands here, aren't in the stands here, that you guys will never hear about, that you'll never know of. That sacrifice a lot for us to be able to go out and do what we do, and to keep us on the field, whether it's in, our academic advisors in the classrooms, trainers. There's so many people that serve so many roles to allow us to go out and play football or basketball or tennis, soccer, whatever it is, right? Softball. We're afforded that opportunity because so many people are willing to serve and love us well. And I say thank you to you. I say thank you to the coaches that gave time. For any of you that have been around sport, any of you that have been around football, what those people sacrificed to make sure that we were prepared, to make sure that we could go in a game and feel confident about what we were doing, who we were playing, and what we needed to do to win. I wasn't grateful enough for it at the time. They put in so much time and they sacrificed so much of what's personal to them and what's so wonderful about life to give us a chance to thrive in the goals that we had. And so I say thank you for that. I say thank you to my teammates. I've kind of alluded to that a little bit already, but man, they are the stars of the night in my opinion. So I say thank you to you. I stand eternally grateful for the relationships that I got to share with you, for the men that you were and are, and how you allowed me patiently, graciously, and with humility to learn, to ask stupid questions, to be curious in a place where I could be. I really, really am grateful for that. Tonight here with me, I have a lot of my family. I can't believe none of you guys cried. I was hoping you'd break the ice for me, but I'm pretty soft when it comes to this anyway, so I'll try and get through this part. I saved it to the last because it'll be the hardest part for me. But my mom and dad, it's for all the sacrifices that you made, allowing me to play sport. Had a pretty humble upbringing, and I know mom and dad now, as a parent, started to realize what they gave up so that we could play. Grateful for that. And for loving me, for loving me not dependent upon my performance. My sisters that are here tonight, they've always been here. This isn't odd for them to be here tonight. I kind of threw out an invitation. I knew we'd have a lot of kids, so I thought that I was like, I didn't know if they'd want to come. I didn't want to make them feel like they'd want to come. And they were, as I figured, they were offended. They were going to be offended if I didn't tell them about it or invite them to it. And so they've always been there. They've always had my back, and they've always been there to encourage me when it was tough. Thank you. I love you. I got brother-in-laws, nephews in the stands as well. I love you guys. So thankful to share a family with you, to get to share life with you. I got my kids and one bear crawling on the ground right here. He's about to lose it, so it's a good thing we're coming to the end. But to my kids, I love you guys. Thanks for reminding me to stay curious, to live each day with joy, and to be genuinely interested in the lives of the people around you. You guys remind me of that every day. And to my wife, she always saw the best in me, even when I was a knucklehead, screwing around, partying too much after games, all the stuff I shouldn't have been doing, I was doing, whether you guys knew it or not. And my wife loved me, and she always saw the best in me. She saw when I wasn't who she knew I wanted to be. She loved me enough to tell me. She loved me enough to call me to that, and she loved me enough to stand next to me as I journeyed through that. I love you. Yeah. So, in closing, I'm thankful. I'm thankful, and as I try to encourage myself every day, the list of people that I just got to say thank you to, I realized those were the people that in my life took the power and authority that they had, and they laid it down so that I might have an opportunity. And it's so often when we can see that that's been done on our behalf, it compels us to do the same thing for others. So I can say thank you to you because you've given me a desire to do the same thing for those that I get to cross paths with in life. And we all have that same opportunity as we get to look to either those around us and look to Jesus and know that we are loved, we're accepted, and the creator of the heaven and the earth laid down his life so that I may have one. He took his power and authority and he gave it up so that I could spend eternity with him. And man, I'm just grateful for that. I stand here grateful for that, and grateful for all of you in the room as well. So thank you.
Jake Locker, thank you very, very much for that heartfelt message, and congratulations on being a Hall of Fame inductee. That was a powerful message in many ways about relationships in college and how it can pertain to what we're trying to achieve and be better in the world. I think in the past 2 years, athletes, young and old, have really showed us they can use their voices to call attention to racial and social injustice and try and right some wrongs in America. And our next group of Hall of Fame inductees did just that in 1969. There were 4 players, 1 assistant coach, who took a courageous stand. They made great personal sacrifice, but kept their eye on the prize for the greater good of the football program and the University of Washington as a whole. All have gone on to distinguished careers, continuing to teach us, influence, and be positive forces for change. Ladies and gentlemen, the next group of inductees to the Husky Hall of Fame, the 5 who dared.
When I look back at 1969, I think about the moon landing, Neil Armstrong landing on the moon, Woodstock in Upper New York, kids my age fighting and dying in Vietnam, the Civil Rights Movement, and finally the 4 African American students, athletes, that were suspended for not giving a loyalty oath to Jim Owens.
There were thousands and thousands of people marching down the streets of Seattle in anti-Vietnam protests. There were riots going on in Chicago and Detroit. There was a time of great unrest, the campus being shut down by demonstrations. So here we were out there, and about one last area of stability you had in your life was the team, and all of a sudden it's disrupted.
Even though the cards were stacked against those 4 gentlemen and Coach Gayton, they stood tall and remained true to themselves and held themselves in the highest of honor and integrity. And that was really bold for 1969, because the racial tension that they received, the animosity that they had to deal with was overwhelming. But they stood steadfast. Have these gentlemen had character? Yes, they do. Were they resilient? Yes, they were. Did they persevere? Absolutely. Let's look at 1969 and let's fast forward to 2021. And let's talk about what these gentlemen have done over the last 52 years to define what type of individuals that they are and what they have overcome.
The lives that these men have lived after the effect of the event is really significant to me. They're wonderful, wonderful accomplishments and great people.
I'm happy that the University of Washington is recognizing these 4 athletes and Coach Gayton for what they had to go through. It was a very difficult time. It was a very difficult experience for those guys, but they made it through, and they've all done tremendous things with their lives.
So congratulations, Ralph and Lamar and Harvy and Gregg and Coach Gayton for this recognition and induction into the Husky Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, receiving their coveted purple jackets tonight are Gregg Alex, Ralph Bayard, Harvy Blanks, Carver Gayton, and Lamar Mills, the 5 who dared.
Thank you. One word can describe this moment, and that word is amazing. It's amazing that after 52 years, this story is finally being told. It's amazing because none of us thought that this would ever happen. What's even more amazing is the fact that with God's grace, all 5 of us are still here to see it happen. We would be remiss in not acknowledging those who helped to make this weekend happen. We want to first thank Director of Athletics Jen Cohen for taking a stand and having the courage on her watch as AD to make sure this story was told, finally chronicled, and documented for posterity. Members of her team that were responsible for the coordination of and the overall video production of the story and for the logistics of this wonderful event include Sheridan Blanford, Jonathan Patrick Soriano, Brian Boucher, Chris Hine, Jay Hilbrands, Heidi Bush, Shannon Kelly, and a special thanks to my administrative assistant at the Casey Foundation, Jamie Lee, who had the unenviable task of trying to herd us cats in scheduling and doing all of the Zoom recordings of our respective stories. We want to thank those who nominated us for membership in the Hall of Fame and for the selection committee for making it happen. Thank you for your recognition of the fact that although academic and athletic achievement are important, standing up for what's right and speaking out against injustice is just as, if not more, important. Continuing with the thank yous, the 5 of us could not leave here this evening without acknowledging and thanking the members of our wonderful families and our friends. For those who are here, to those who couldn't be here, and for those who are no longer with us. It was through their unconditional love, support, and encouragement that we are standing here before you this evening. Again, 52 years ago was a time of great social unrest in this country. What happened to the 5 of us was extremely difficult, but it must be placed in the context of what was happening all over this country. There are many, many stories like ours that have been told and documented over the years, but there are so many, many more that have gone untold. We would like to dedicate this induction to those untold stories, and we'd also like to dedicate this to Landy Harrell, who's not doing very well today because of health reasons, and our prayers go out to him. Let me close with these comments from my teammates and coach. Again, this was 52 years ago. We were children. We were kids. Why would you want to do that to black kids, white kids, brown kids, any kids? We had the opportunity and the ability to do something wonderful, and it was taken away from us. Harvey blanks. Some of the things we experienced during this period. We received threats on our lives. It's not something that any of us expected, but it's also not something any of us would have run from. Gregg Alex. What drove our decisions? What was done to us just wasn't right. The decision we made to speak out was bigger than sports. Lamar Mills. Our futures were uncertain. Little did I know that what I had experienced during this time, as difficult as it may have been, was great preparation for what I would experience the rest of my life. Yours truly. And finally, the takeaway for all of us in this room tonight. Anytime that you have ever felt disrespected, disparaged, or dehumanized because of your race, because of your gender, because of your sexual orientation, or because of your religion, not one drop of my self-worth depends on your acceptance of me. Not one drop of my self-worth depends on your acceptance of me. That's from Coach Carver Gayton. We want to thank you so much for tonight. Congratulations to all the inductees. Thank you again for being a part of the 2021 Hall of Fame class. Thank you.
What a powerful message and fitting way to end this induction ceremony. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here tonight and telling it like it is. Stay on stage with us. I would like to invite all of the Hall of Fame new inductees up here for a giant picture and all of your applause one more time. The 2021 Husky Hall of Fame class. Congratulations to all. Thank you again for everybody who made the Hall of Fame ceremony possible. We expect that it will be on a YouTube channel to watch and show everybody across the world how we do it here in Seattle, Washington. Thank you again for coming. It was great to socialize in person. Go Dogs!